Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The topic is malpresentation and malposition. This lecture is the continuation of the last lectures, in which we have discussed regarding the malpresentation, malpositions, and regarding the breech presentations. Today we are going to discuss about the other malpresentations and the malpositions. The breech presentation is the most common malpresentation, as we have discussed earlier. The other malpresentation which is important to discuss is the face presentation. Face presentation is seen in 0.2% of the cases in patients with the normal labor. The incidence is 0.2% or 1 in 500. Face presentation, it is caused by the extreme extension of the fetal head, so the face present to the birth canal. The reason for the face presentations, it may be due to the overextension of the fetal head, which may be due to the goiters, in some cases of an encephalic, and with the patients with a high maternal parity, there is a risk of having a face presentations due to the malpresentation of the fetal head. When we deal with the face presentation, we have to look for whether the denominator in the case of a face presentation is mentum. So we look whether it is interior, transverse, or the posteriors. Normally, in 60% of the cases, in the face presentations, there is mentum is interior. That is called the mento-anterior positions, and in 15% of the cases, it is mento-transverse, and 25% mento-posteriors. The most favorable for the delivery in case of a face presentation is the mento-anterior position. This diagram is showing the three presentations. First is the normal vertex presentation, in which the presenting diameter is the suboccipitobregmatic. And the second is the brow presentations, in which there is a extension midway between the occiput and the face. And third is the face presentation, in which there is a full flexion of the fetal head, and the presenting diameter is submentobregmatic. This diagram is also showing the different position of the in a face presentation in the anterior and the posterior, mento-anterior and the mento-posterior positions. The lower diagrams are showing the mento-anterior position. There is a left mento-anterior, right mento-anteriors, and the right mento-posterior. Face presentations, the diameter that is presenting is the submentobregmatic, and it is equal to the suboccipitobregmatic diameter, that is the 9.5. If there is a advancement in the progress of the labor, then it is delivered as normally as a cephalic presentations, and there comes no problems. And but in case of a mento-posteriors and mento-transfer positions, there may be a prolongation of the first and second stage of the labors, and in that case, sometimes we have to opt for the cesarean section if there is a delay in the delivery of the fetal head. The other malpresentation is the brow presentation. It is seen in 1 in 1400 cases of the normal labors. The head it is extended in the brow presentation, that the attitude of the head is halfway between the flexion and the hyperextension. And this presentation is usually transitional when the head is in the process of converting from a vertex to a face, or a vice versa. The presenting part will be between the facial orbits and the anterior fontanelle, and the presenting diameter is the large diameter, that is the supraoccipitomental diameter, that is about 13.5 centimeters, as compared to the submentobregmatic or suboccipitobregmatic diameter, that is 9.5 centimeter. This diagram is showing the brow presentation, in which the sinciput is presenting. The causes of the brow presentations, there are multiple causes. It may be due to the prematurity, it may be seen in case of a multiple pregnancies, or it may be due to the polyhydramnios, congenital uterine anomalies, and sometimes if the placenta is low lying, in that cases it may be seen. And if there is any pelvic abnormalities, these may cause the brow presentations. What is important when we are managing a case of a malpresentation is to look for the chord prolapse. It occurs in 20% of the cases. Chord prolapse or chord presentation is said when the umbilical cord lies alongside or in front of the presenting part while the fetal membranes are intact, is known as a chord presentation. And if the membrane rupture and the cord is felt below the vertex, it is called a chord prolapse. Chord prolapse is an emergency. If we will detect any patients in labor with the chord presentation or chord prolapse, we have to go for the immediate delivery by the cesarean section to prevent the fetal compromise. This diagram is showing the chord presentation as well as the chord prolapse. Chord prolapse is usually associated with the malpresentations, and it is an obstetric emergency. Now the malposition of the fetal head. Malposition of the fetal head is defined as when the head enters the pelvis in one of the oblique diameter and the occiput is directed anteriorly. Normally the occiput is directed anteriorly, but in case of occipito-posterior position, the occiput is directed posteriorly. There are two positions, right occipito-posterior position and the left occipito-posterior position, but the right occipito-posterior position is more common. This diagram is showing the difference between a normal position and the malposition, in which the occiput is directed posteriorly. The causes of the malpositions are usually the android pelvis, anterior placement of the placenta, and sometimes there is no reason. The mechanism of labor in a case of a malposition depend upon whether the head is well flexed or incompletely flexed. In case of a well flexed head, there will be, and if the occiput is at the lower level than the sinciput, it will, regarding the like the normal labor, it will hit the pelvic floor first, then it will rotate anteriorly, but there will be a long anterior rotations, that is 3/8 of a circle. So the head comes, occiput comes behind the pubic symphysis like the normal vertex presentation, and rest of the mechanism will be same as in case of a occipito anterior position. But when the head is incompletely flexed, in that case occipitofrontal diameter, which is about 11.5 centimeter, have to pass through the pelvis instead of the suboccipitobregmatic diameter, which is about 9.5 centimeter. This explains why there is, in some cases of the occipitoposterior position, there is a delay in the progress of the labors, and there is a prolongation of the first and second stage of the labor. With incomplete flexion, the sinciput will touch the pelvic floor and it will rotate anteriorly to come to lie behind the pubic symphysis, and the occiput will move backward through 1/8 of a circle, and it will fit into the hollow of the sacrum, and the head will be borne with the face toward the posterior surface of the pubic symphysis. The root of the nose is pressed against the bone. The vertex is borne by flexion instead of extension in case of a occipitoposterior position. Then when the head extends, so the face and chin emerging from under the pubic arch, there will be a stretching of the perineum. The bulbal orifice will be stretched by the occipitofrontal instead of the suboccipitofrontal diameter, that is 1.5 centimeter more than the occipitofrontal diameter, and there may be a chances of the perineal trauma and the perineal tears in case of a occipitoposterior position. Deep transverse arrest. Deep transverse arrest is also a complication of the occipitoposterior positions. In that case, when there is a long anterior rotations, that is 3/8 of a circle, in that case sometimes the head become impacted in the mid pelvis and there is and unable to rotate to come into the anterior position, and it become arrested in the transverse positions. In that case there will be a delay in the progress of the labors, and it is usually diagnosed during the course of the labor. During the first stage of labor, there will be a, due to deep transfer arrest of the deep transfer arrest of the head, there will be a large caput formation. The end head become impacted above the ischial spines. During pregnancy, it is, however, the diagnosis is not made, but in cases of a non-engagement of the fetal head, especially in cases of a primary gravida, it is considered it may be due to the occipitoposterior positions. And on examination, when we do the para-abdominal examination, there will be a flattening of the lower abdomens, and the limbs of the fetus can be felt anteriorly. There will be difficulty in defining the back of the fetus and difficulty in hearing the fetal heart sounds, which are usually heard in one of the flanks. On these basis, the diagnosis of the occipitoposterior position is made during the antenatal period before labor. During labor, there will be a early rupture of the membrane, and there will be a high presenting part. If any patients present with a premature rupture of the membranes with the high vertex presentations, then we should suspect the male presentations and the male position in that case. The position can be determined from the direction of the anterior fontanelle, which can be easily felt behind the pubicis. Normally, in a vertex presentation with the occipitoposterior positions, we usually felt the posterior fontanelle. But in case of occipitoposterior positions, when we do the vaginal examinations, we usually felt the anterior fontanelle. The degree of flexion of the head can be determined from the fontanelles If only the anterior fontanella is felt, then head is poorly flexed. If both the anterior and posterior fontanella are felt, then head is less poorly flexed. If only the posterior fontanella is felt, then head is well flexed. A well flexed head is more likely to rotate anteriorly. During the second stage of the labor, sometimes the position is not recognized until there is delay in the second stage of the labor. The diagnosis by the vaginal examination is made by if there is a excessive caput formation, and to confirm our diagnosis, sometimes we have to pass the fingers along the side of the fetal head to feel the margins of the ears, which will point to the occiput. If they are posterior, it means that there is a occiput is posterior. If they are anterior, it means that the occiput is anterior. They will help in confirming the diagnosis. In case of occipito-posterior position, there is a prolongation of the first and second stage of the labor. In 70% of the cases, there will be a spontaneous rotation of the occiput to the anterior position. However, in 10% of the cases, the occiput undergoes short backward rotation and deliver in occipito-posterior position, that is called the phase to pubes. In the remaining cases, there will be a assisted rotation. In some cases, if there is a difficulty in the delivery of the head, or there is a prolongation of the second stage of labor, in that cases we have to perform the assisted delivery, that is with the application of the forceps or the vacuums. And in those cases, if the fetal head, if there is a failure of descent of the fetal head, in that cases we have to go for the operative delivery, that is the cesarean section. The forceps which are preferable for the delivery of the occipito-posterior positions are the keyline forceps, that will cause the rotation as well as the extraction of the fetal head. Or the vacuum is, if there is a slight malposition, in that cases the vacuum can also be used. They will also do the rotation as well as delivery of the fetal head. The forceps or the manual rotation of the head should be done under the proper analgesia and anesthesia. The head is rotated with the fingers to a direct anterior position. Along with the shoulder girdle of the fetus should also be rotated at the same time as the head by pressure through the abdominal wall by the external hand. So the head, the shoulder should also be rotated with the head. After the rotation is complete, then the obstetric forces are applied to complete the delivery. Keyline forceps were most favorable for the occipito-posterior positions, but nowadays these are less commonly used because of the severe maternal and fetal trauma. The vacuums are usually preferable as compared to the keyline forceps, but nowadays the cesarean section is also preferable to reduce the fetal and maternal morbidity. In case of a deep transverse arrest, the preferable choice is to have a cesarean sections because the patient usually present as a case of obstructive labor when there is a deep transverse arrest. Thank you. This is the important information regarding the male presentation and the male positions. In order to describe, it is better to have a drill regarding that so that there can be a better explained. Thank you.